Political candidates are heading back out on the campaign trail as the November election approaches after both Democrats and Republicans had their days here at the fair.
Now, early poll results are trickling in for the governor's race, showing that Bruce Rauner has the lead. ABC News Channel 20's Adam Reif live in studio now with more on the numbers and what they mean. Adam.
That's right. If you haven't seen the polling numbers yet this summer, it's almost a given you will as the fall approaches. Analysts say accurate polls are a useful tool to gauge the political climate at a given time, but they warn it can often be difficult to separate the fact from the spin.
Don't believe all these polls that show us up double digits. You know what? The only poll that matters is November 4th.
Bruce Rauner with a 5-point edge in one poll, here a 14-point edge. 8% separating him from Governor Quinn in this poll, but here it's back up to a 13% margin for Rauner. Each poll released within a week of each other, yet each offering a wildly different assessment of the governor's race.
We do them basically to get a gauge of public opinion.
A valuable tool when administered correctly, but only a snapshot in time, and misinformation often clouds the big picture.
Definitely some have an agenda, but the majority of people that are doing these type of surveys aren't looking to push a certain agenda. They're not looking to be biased.
But some companies and candidates can spin poll results to reflect their narrative. The most trusted companies practice their polls ahead of time.
Various rounds of this to make sure that everything's tested and pre-tested, and then make sure that there aren't any confusions with the polls.
Analysts say in-person interviews are best for complex issues, and emails are also used.
It's important to provide as much context and to balance your questions as best you can, not to lead people in one direction.
But the best way to reach as many people as possible is still over the phone.
Telephone is still the gold standard for making sure you're getting through to the right people. And automated polls can work well. They're usually a better fit for simpler questions.
That's the method Reboot Illinois and their polling partner We Ask America used to reach more than 1,000 people in their latest poll.
They just hit a number to dial in their response.
It's easy and cost-effective, but the simplicity of phone calls does not always provide in-depth information. And with different companies using different methods to ask different questions, it can also be difficult to accurately track trends over time.
If you're changing up the wording question, you really don't have polls that you can see time and time again.
The raw numbers may grab the headlines, but the analysts say voters need to do their homework to gain a little perspective.
It's impossible to discern any trends right now from the polling that's been done.
This far out from an election, it's really hard to get an actual glimpse of what the voting results are going to be.
Now, even though many of the polls currently show a double-digit lead for Bruce Rauner, we all know the election is anything but over at this time. At this point in 2010, Governor Quinn faced similar deficits in the polls against then-candidate Bill Brady, only, of course, to come back and win the general election in November. Vince?
Adam, thanks very much. Now, the advertising campaigns for Bruce Rauner and Pat Quinn are just starting to heat up, and analysts say those TV ads could have a major effect on polling numbers for the candidates.